A, and then strain, STRANE.
There he is. Add friends.
Yeah.
Ooh, helping humanity manifest more fun, freedom, fulfillment, and abundance. Yeah, I dig it. Oh, we have quite a few friends.
Well, yeah, you're in
common.
Only other place I've ever lived in is California, so that's since you know Laura, and we'll probably connect with some more people too.
Oh, I can't share it. Let me see if I can change it.
I just confirmed you as a friend, so maybe it might allow you to share it easier.
Okay. All right, I see it. I'm going to share it to a page, and then I'll be ready to rock and roll.
You'll be ready before me, so just take your time.
Okay.
That's the best part of Facebook these days. It is the easiest to share. I like Instagram better for a lot of reasons, but Facebook's the easiest still to share.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to look up this multiple sharing platform because I've never done it before.
Restream is awesome. Yeah, this is sharing. This is streaming right now on YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, and I think another one.
Hello, yeah, right? Social media universe.
Right. I never know who's going to
get linked.
Never know who's going to tune in live, but people are always like find the replay, and then the real episode of this or the actual episode will come out in a couple of weeks. But I figure if people are attracted to seeing it live, awesome. For those of you guys that are live, if you guys do have questions that pop up as me and Alicia are talking, there's a link there that you guys could register and you can join us here on the Zoom that we're on, which I'm going to mute so that it doesn't distract if you do. But yeah, I'm taking any questions are just coming from here, and then feel free to watch and comment on the lives as well. Awesome. All right, let's do it. Just went live on Instagram as well on my phone. So let me unmute you because I just muted you. All right, you're good. Okay, so when I'm introducing you, now that I'm pronouncing your name correctly, higher self coach is just how you want me to refer to you as when I'm just saying.
Yeah.
This is Alicia.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it. Cool. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Really excited for today and to chat with my awesome guest. I have Alicia Fox, who is in Orange County, which is in Southern California, the only other place I told her in the United States that I would be living right now. And I used to live there in Southern California. Now I'm in Miami, and was really excited to chat with her. I came across her Instagram page not too long ago, and immediately I told her she had a voice message for me within seconds because I saw the love and light that she was sharing with her audience and knew we would have a fun conversation. And that's what we are going to do today. Alicia is a higher self coach and all-around awesome human. And so without further ado for me, I want to introduce you guys to Alicia. And if you could share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, all this good stuff. Hold on, you're muted. You muted yourself. Now you're good. You're muted again. You have control over your mute, I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to touch it. You do it.
Where are your hands? Another one of us. Okay. So thank you so much. I'm really honored, first and foremost, to be connected with your community at large. And as I kind of said at the beginning of the conversation, for me, this is such a really beautiful time since everybody's at home, right? And, we're kind of maybe coming across information that we wouldn't have before. So I look at this as a really beautiful opportunity to share that message that each and every one of us is actually on a really special path right now. And it's a very interesting time. We're so used to just overstimulation that I think sometimes we forget this is a really very special time in history. And by special, I just mean unique for our life, our timeline for all of us. So I do higher self life coaching, and really it's kind of this umbrella right now, because I feel like every 30 days over the past 2 years, I'm going to be 33, guys. I haven't been doing this work since I was 2. So every 30 days, I kind of have a shift, and I'm able to bring that to my community. And when I talk about higher self, really what I'm talking about is that inner you, that intuition. So a lot of times in like spiritual communities, we'll talk about having clairvoyance or clairaudience or claircognizance, and that's just being able to see without the outer eye, with the inner eye, have vision, hear without the outer ear. When you kind of get that inkling, we call it the gut feeling, right? So I help women specifically tap into that, and I believe that all of us have these gifts. I don't think that there's like a spiritual hierarchy, and some of us do and some of us don't, but I help them tap into those universal laws, to be able to really fully express. And at the same time, we have to work on the being and the human, right? So we have to work on both. So the soul aspect, we work on the soul skills, understanding how to develop, and really intuitively trusting what your gifts are, and experiencing those, as well as developing character, developing discipline, getting radically honest around where we are kind of holding ourselves back and not fully diving into our greatest and highest. So that's essentially what I do. I do one-on-one coaching. I have a free community called the KISS community, Keep It Simple Soul. Same sort of methodology, I think, for modern times. Like the more simple we keep it, that's really every single lesson I have learned in my own evolution has been, oh, that's it. Like that was the moment. It's that simple. I just had to relax. Oh, okay. But we really want processes as humans. We want like the 10-step process, or how do I get to A to B the fastest? So that's what I do. And then I'm hired on to help with retreats and all kinds of stuff, speak to different communities. Yeah, that's me. That's who I be.
I love it. This is going to be fun. I love how this conversation is starting, and just how you describe the higher self, just who all of us truly are. And I know the same thing to be true as far as whenever we see another human being out there that we say, wow, they have an awesome gift. It's true, and at the same time, the gift is flowing with the same non-physical energy that all of us truly are. Some may call that spirit, source, God, the universe, all that is, infinite intelligence, and we're just different physical avatars, different physical expressions of that same non-physical energy. And so, yes, some may be more drawn to different, gifts, to where even from a young child, they might have been drawn to being able to see or being able to hear, or the clairaudience, the clairvoyance, and all of these things. And so maybe they might develop that gift and put more focus and attention and energy and develop it stronger, where others of us may not be so drawn to that. We're drawn to other things. So I love that part as well, which makes it fun to co-create with 7.7 billion humans, because we're all living different life experiences and drawn to different things. So it's awesome. But just knowing that that's who all of us truly are. And this time, even though the time that we're in right now is challenging, at the same time, I'm really excited because it's causing people to focus inside and focus in and ask themselves questions like, what parts of my life do I want to see evolve right now, or to change, or for humanity, or these questions that are great questions to ask anytime. However, we have just more hyper focus right now on these questions because we're being forced to. We're being forced to look at the world differently, ourselves differently, how we're being in this world, and then that's going to cause beautiful evolution for all of us, as any challenging time in life would. This is just more like a first time in my lifetime, and yours too, because my lifetime is longer than yours by a few years. So the first time in my lifetime that I could think of that it's been like a global, like, to where we're all affected, like every single one of us in every corner. Like, don't think there's anywhere on the planet where they're living normally. If so, I would have found you on Google, because I was searching. I was like, where can I travel to? So I don't think that exists right now. So yeah, it's a beautiful time, even in the midst of a very challenging time, which I have a lot of a compassion for anyone out there that hasn't become aware of yet, which is why I continue to do these podcasts and share all the things that I share, of really who all of us truly are, and being able to know that everything is working out for us, because it truly always is, even if we don't know how, when, where, who, or any of these things. So just want to affirm all that right off the bat, and you inspired all that out of me right at the beginning.
I feel like we could just like affirm back and forth, because that's really what I impart on others as like a fire starter. I kind of look at myself as like Kindle. I'm like, I'm just here to be a catalyst for you, because we wouldn't have been drawn, like anyone who ends up becoming my client, and I imagine anybody who ends up listening to this podcast, there are no coincidences, right? So if anybody stumbles across this information, it's because they were ready, and it's either just to plant a seed, especially like you said, during this time of awareness where we're getting this opportunity. And same with you, I 100% have deep compassion. And even myself, I have my own ebbs and flows. And I don't mean even myself like I'm so self-mastered or anything like that. It's just having a little bit of a head start on a lot of this understanding and accepting it as truth. I think acceptance is probably one of the most powerful holy instant transformational moments, is when we just decide to accept something. And just like feeling that in my body, but we'll get further into that. So just like affirming and understanding that if you're here and if you're listening to this message, it's for you. And that's it. That is the end of it all. If you're here, take in what resonates, or when we say resonates, what feels good. Everything else, yeah, just like some who follow developing a gift and some who are like, that's not my path. Really learning to trust. This is something you get to flex right now. You listen in on 10 minutes. Listen in. Is this for you or not? If it's not, you can go find a different conversation that really aligns with you, or you stay here because something's drawing something out of you. So that's really what I teach clients too, is like, listen and trust that immediate yes or no for yourself. We think that because we believe in time, it's going to take a long time to really know what's for you. And I love really shortening that gap for people. They're like, not really. Your soul already knows. The answer's already gone before you.
Absolutely. So, I love it. I love so much. And what Alicia just said is so important. Like for anybody that is listening right now or will listen when this is released, like she said, there's no coincidences in life. It's just all synchronicity. Like life is just one ongoing synchronicity of things that we can never predict. And what I love knowing is that if you are here right now, like live or experiencing this whenever you're experiencing this, maybe 100 years from now, which I'll ask you a question pertaining to that at the end. Don't worry. For the people that are listening as the internet lives on forever. But if you're experiencing any life experience right now, my best advice is to give 100% presence to it so that you can fully embody and grasp the life experience to give you the clarity that you were meant to receive in that moment versus, having something, maybe your mind is on something else and you're not fully being able to be present. Like, not just with this information right now, but anything that we're doing, if we choose something.
Great reminder.
Yeah, if we choose to do anything, if we can be fully there, we'll get the full life experience, which will give us the full clarity, which will allow us to take the next step on our journey, whatever that may be, further in that direction or in a completely different direction. But if we didn't really get the clarity from it because we were mentally somewhere totally different, maybe somebody invited you to go to an event and you're like, dang, there's really all these things that I'd much rather be doing, but I want to appease them and I don't want them to be mad at me, so I'm going to go anyway. But mentally the whole time you're somewhere else. They probably would have rather you just stay home if you go there and you're not present. But then also you're not going to get the life experience. You're not going to be able to have those synchronicities that maybe there was someone there to meet that could have suggested something, or maybe it could have been a lifelong friend, or so many other things. So I love what you said. Just reminders for all of us that there are no coincidences in life. Like you are where you are right now for a reason, and just be able to be curious. Like, what is that? Like, what is here for me?
Can I just acknowledge something that you just said? That this is what I love about this work, is that we never really arrive. Like, there's always going to be something, like a nugget. When you said 100% presence, I was like, oh, that's such a good reminder of like, can I be here 100%? Because that's when I'm going to be able to discern what is for me and what's not. What's for my path, what's here to help me evolve. It really all is for us. But we have to give it 100% presence to know if that's the contrast that we're like, oh, no, this isn't for me, or yeah, this feels really good. So thank you for that. I actually wrote it down. I was like, oh,
I saw you writing over there. I
saw
you writing over there. I was like, she took notes on that. I was like, I love it.
I did that. Because I'm always like beginner's mind. I know that each and every person has something to teach me. And I'm really grateful for that. Even when it's like a lesson that doesn't feel great. I'm like, thank you. Thank you for teaching me. Gratitude That's what's on my card that I see every morning. And then I just put 100% presence to the information, but is gratitude first. So it's the first thing I see every morning, depending upon, my mental, emotional, physical state. I'm like, gratitude first. Okay. I'm grateful that I had this bed to sleep on and that, so I just start with appreciation. And I really got that from, years ago, studying Abraham Hicks and then Gabby Bernstein, and just kind of like, well, that makes a lot of sense. Could I just shift my own state and realign with like, yeah, maybe life is a lot greater than I'm giving it credit for right now. So 100% presence to the information is the powerful nugget. I hope you guys took notes.
Two quick things that Alicia just inspired me to share. One earlier in this episode, but then also right now. The beginner mindset that I think she's called it that, or just being open to learning, for anybody out there, like none of us will ever like be fully aware of all the secrets of the universe, which they'll be revealed to us when we're ready for them, when we're ready to receive them and apply them so that they can benefit us in our life journey. So once we get to the point where like we remember like who we are, the light bulb comes on and we can realize that life is never ending, just becoming more and more and more aware. It's so awesome. What I know is that there are universal laws that adhere to us all, and then everything else is possibility. So when you hear something from someone, even if you may not be resonant with that thought or idea right then and there, maybe it's just a seed planted like Leisha shared earlier, just know that it's still possibility. And so just if you could just be open to that, then you could be open to receiving lots more awareness like the whole time you're here. It's like never ending. Like I love these conversations so much because I'm always like, ooh, that's interesting. Like I never heard of that, or I didn't like the way that you worded that. Like it's just always new awarenesses and just things that we're ready for when we're ready for it, and we can apply them when we're ready to apply them. The second thing that you said escaped me again, but it'll come back when it's ready. So that's okay. I'm going to ask a question here at some point, or we're just going to flow the whole time, which is cool too.
You can ask me a question if you have something that's on the tip of your tongue, or doesn't matter either way. There
will be a few questions asked on this episode at some point, but Leisha and I will just flow as we flow, which is typically what these episodes are anyway, just like a flow session of just whatever is meant to come out and just fun all along the way.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about, because you mentioned having a head start. Oh, that just brought me back to the other thing, and then I'll ask you the question. So for all of us, because Leisha mentioned, and she was very humble about it when she mentioned having a head start to some of this awareness that we've been sharing, and at the same time realizing that this is who all of us truly are. I'm not going to put words in Leisha's mouth, but just knowing that for all of us, at some point, like it's my hope for everybody is that we remember who we truly are. Because when we come here as little unconditional, loving little babies, and we're just looking around, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, super present, just in awe with life. That's who all of us truly are. And so when we remember that, and then we can just be open and realize that, because we're just different physical expressions of the same non-physical energy, we're no better or worse than anyone else. Like that can give us the humbleness and the confidence to know if there's any human out there doing anything, we're like, that's awesome, that's awesome, that's awesome. That's just a reflection of you. So take that as like, wow, like that's super inspiring. Like I'm not drawn as much to doing those things as they are. I'm super excited for them because they're creating something for the collective that we all get to play in, we all get to participate in. And at the same time, it's inspiring me to take the same non-physical energy and flow it towards the things that I'm passionate about, things that I'm drawn to, which also add to the collective. We all get to play with those as well. And you get to enjoy the whole process of that unfolding for you. So I love how you said that because the light bulb has come on and it's a never-ending awareness like we talked about. And I'm just excited for more light bulbs to come on around like the world, which right now, more than ever, I think in our lifetimes, it's happening because, again, people are self-reflecting and going within versus thinking that they can manipulate the outside to feel better because that's not much you can do on the outside right now.
It's not available.
Yeah.
And, just to reflect that back, there are moments in our lives where we're really called to awaken and remember that we did come to this planet as just happy, beautiful, loving, like you said, unconditional beings. And that process doesn't always have to be through a process of surrendering, or of suffering. Surrendering, yes. Suffering. What I'm coming to find is the more we are willing to surrender and trust and start accepting that these are universal truths, like, okay, I can feel that there's a truth within this, the less suffering that really has to happen, or it doesn't have to feel like suffering, right? Like once we shift into everything's information, that's why I always say beginner's mind, because, or Shoshin, which is, just every time I sit on my mat, I've never actually been here in space and time. I've never actually brought this version of Leisha to this seat this time. And so, woohoo! What are the possibilities? What are the opportunities that are going to be opened up? What's the awareness and the expansion of consciousness? What I was telling one of my clients the other day was, this is a time to really go deep and wide, without it totally going off on all the sexual innuendos. But really, though, like just putting that there, because I know some of y'all are thinking it. It's a time to really grow your roots. Like if there's a lot of wind, right, and a tree is sort of getting knocked around, that'll actually deepen its roots. So I think for so long, the world of phenomena and the outer experience was sort of what shaped us. And now, like you said, that being taken away, we do get to sit with it and close the outer eye, and which really a lot of energy is poured forth. And I think you had hit the nail on the head earlier when you said with our focus, like harnessing our focus. We are now getting to practice that. And everything's just a practice. Awareness is a practice. Expanding consciousness is a practice. Just like building a muscle. You're like, where am I not illuminating within my own self, within my own experience? And then just allowing that universal presence, spirit, God, to just work through you, versus like feeling that sort of, I've got to make it happen, And that was definitely a big lesson for me in the past, like 3 or 4 years on this path of self-discovery, self-remembering, really. It's not like I'm discovering new lands. It's just more of remembering.
I love it.
So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, just remembering who you knew to be, who you knew yourself to be when you were that little unconditionally loving little baby. So I love it. Now I'm going to ask you a question, because I had something that I was going to share and it'll come back to me and it just left again. So this means that it's time for me to ask, because I'm always curious about this with everyone. And it sounds like I already know that, because every once in a while, very rarely, I'll speak to someone and they went from unconditional loving little baby and they never forgot who they truly are. They just evolved from that point all the way until where I'm speaking to them now. Very rare that that's the case. Like most of us forget over the years and do suffer as a result. I know that there was much suffering, as what used to be my greatest weakness was always reaching outside of me, trying to manipulate and make things happen in the external so that I could feel happy in the internal. I'll be happy when, which is a great recipe if you want to be depressed in the moment. I'll be happy when. So I needed to remember and have the light bulb come on. And for you, how did that journey look for you, as far as, did you go from little unconditional loving little baby and just evolve all the way through without ever forgetting? Or did it look different?
I almost feel like I'm like going backwards towards that. So when I was younger, I was very gregarious, the things that they write on your cards to go home, your like report card, and it's like very loving, very affectionate, has to be separated, talks too much to everybody, because I was just very curious, right? Yeah, like I wanted to be near everyone, and I wanted to, that's been my like side note, qualm, and something I've had to learn is how to self-soothe a little bit further when I found a lot of my worth being outwardly expressive with people, putting my hands on them, really like offering up a safe space through my physical presence in the room with them. So that's been like a really cool understanding that it actually, we're still all connected. So we can come back to that. But going back towards me as a little kid, and so you kind of get wronged over and over and over again. And to be able to really match the energy of the room and to please an adult, I would sort of pull in a little bit further and, straighten up. Both my parents were military. So my very like bright, shiny self was just sort of regulated, routined out a little bit. And, all of us have our stories of childhood and what we went through. And I really look at it as like my parents were doing the best they could with what they knew. And there's been so much forgiveness and compassion. And I really believe we all chose each other to like freaking do some healing work generationally, like ancestrally together. But there was some trauma and there was some pain and suffering that we were all just kind of like going through. And it was around like my teens where I started to become a very angry, and my nervous system became very conditioned to, if anything set me off or did not go my way, it was just like a rage monster, and I truly believe that I was made to reflect the universe, looking like this, sounding like this, acting like this, so that way I could really charm and and help people feel safe. But at the time, I used it as like a manipulative way. So I would manipulate the outer experiences to get what I felt I needed, and just, I would say it was up until like my early 20s. I was working at bars in Los Angeles. I was out there to be an actress, and was drinking a lot to just kind of numb. And so following the journey up until then, I still really craved the vulnerability, the intimacy, and the connection that I had with people naturally before I got bounced around to 7 or 8 different schools, and started chameleonizing myself to whatever I felt the person needed. So what I know now, looking back, is when we are very energetically sensitive, and like I said, I don't believe that there's anything that's like super special about me versus anyone else. I think we all can feel these things. When I would connect with a person and I would energetically feel where they are, and that just means I could feel that maybe they were insecure about how big or how happy I was, like how big my presence was. I would actually make myself really small to make them feel safe, because what it sounded like to me in what I would hear or I would feel, the energetic tone of it, was that they didn't like me. So I would chameleonize myself into kind of matching them energetically, so that way they wouldn't feel threatened. They would maybe feel safe, and I would get the love that I was like seeking. I did that in relationships. I did that in friendships. I did that at jobs, working in the service industry. And so I often got angry at myself for not just fully saying or showing up and being who I wanted to be. And that path went on until I physically had a nervous breakdown, physical breakdown. I was 26. They were talking about taking out my thyroid. I broke out in cystic acne. I truly believe that everything starts in the invisible, but it had been going on for so long that my body was finally like the densest of the layers. My body was like, I'm done. Like, I'm done with the way your nervous system is showing up right now. Just on that feedback loop for years of adrenaline and anger. It's funny now, because if you meet me in this time, it's like there's no way I was ever like punching holes in the walls, but I was.
Literally?
What was that?
Literally, you punched holes in walls?
Literally.
You'd never guessed.
Yeah,
like you
I
said.
got into fist fights and yep. I was a very angry, and it was a product of not just my environment, but just not understanding why I felt that way. And I really look back at that catalyst of finally physically breaking down. That was when I say I have a head start, I just mean I'm comfortable in my own space. I'm aware to say, okay, I'm not feeling great. Let's dive into that a little bit and just kind of figure out where I can shift my energy. Having these tools, these teachings, these tools, these understandings have helped me. And it didn't happen overnight. It took some time. But yeah, I definitely didn't go without, some suffering. And I would say it was, July of last year was when I really had this amazing experience and got to see where I was just working against myself, right? That's where that radical honesty comes in. And we can continue to point the finger at other people and be the victim and say, well, I had abuse in my childhood home, and so that's why. But at some point, we get to kind of take a look at what that taught us and how we want to show up going forward. And that's why I think the personal development, the human part of development, is then building confidence in yourself that you can be different and you can remember who you actually were through these practices. So that was kind of like the A to B of my path.
I love it. What's so interesting, and I'm seeing you through my eyes, as far as the reason that today my greatest strengths were 10 years ago my greatest weaknesses. I'm seeing you through that lens right now, because I would have never guessed that you had any anger or You need that because you're so sweet and loving, and like what you're presenting to the world here and now is so awesome. So it's just great to highlight for everybody out there that, any challenge or any like rough point in our life, like when we become aware that, ooh, this is no longer how I'd like to be, how would I like to be, and allow ourselves to evolve into who we all truly are, which is, what Leisha is a great example of as she's being this right here and now. And for all of us, like, this is what escaped me earlier, and I'm so inspired to share it now. Like, when we become aware of who and what we truly are and everything we're talking about in this episode, like that in and of itself puts us 99% of the way there. But the 1% is always the choice in the moment that all of us get to make, whether or not we want to be the light, whether we want to be who and what we truly are, or if we want to be angry, mad, upset, rageful, all these other, energies where I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with it. It's part of the human experience. However, it's because of that I now get to experience you this way. And because it's a choice, like it's something that you consciously care about, like it matters to you. It's important to you. It's a practice, like you mentioned. And for all of us is that. So the awareness piece for all of you out there that listen to this podcast, or if you're actively seeking, to allow yourself to evolve, it's awesome because now you're becoming more and more aware, and you will continue to the entire time that you're here. All of us will. And then that awareness, again, you're 99% of the way there all the time. It's just, what are you going to choose in this moment? Because that's all that matters. Yeah. Like, I never will allow anyone to label themselves around me as I'm enlightened, or I'm happy, or I'm depressed, or I'm anxious. The answer to all of those is sometimes. Because energy never just stays, like it's always moving. So what are you being right here and now is all that I focus on for me, and highly recommend that, those of you out there just focus on for you. And if you're at an energy where you feel like at peace, if you feel calm, if you feel happy, joyful, connected, if you feel loving, if you feel blissed out, you notice I just let momentum carry me up to these descriptions. That's who all of us truly are. And you can trust the thoughts in those frequencies. You can trust the words you speak from those frequencies. The actions. Like, you're never going to take a spiteful or angry or jerk action towards someone when you're truly being love, when you're truly being who you truly are. You don't have to even think about it. You just say whatever comes out because it's coming from a true, good frequency. I don't want to label the frequency good or bad, but you're coming from a frequency where you're connected to all it is. Yeah. For me, it's like I know that I'm either being who I truly am, I'm being the light, I'm connected to God, universe, love, source, all that is, infinite intelligence, whatever we want to call it, or I'm not. I'm disconnecting myself. And if I know that I'm connected in this moment, then I'm just allowing to flow through me whatever wants to flow through me, because it's all beautiful. It's all serving me. It's on my path towards everything that I want to see in my life and for humanity. So that's for all of us out there. I love it.
I'm so grateful that you made that space or created that space for me to share, because I do think it is important, especially with social media these days, where it's like, I definitely don't want to share from a victim space of like, oh, this happened, and go into the nitty gritty details. Although sometimes I think we crave that to be like, okay, so you survived that, or that happened to you. Yet it's important to know that we're meeting each other in a specific chapter in our lives, because we've really kind of, I always say, like, it's like magnetizing. Like, we magnetize each other at this point where we're like, oh, okay, you're at that elevation. That's why I have Elevated Conversations as my show. And because I truly believe that every conversation I have with another person, my intention is to help elevate them. Because there's that, those funny memes or whatever, those sayings that go around all over the place. It says, don't adapt to the energy in the room. Bring the energy to the room. Be the energy of the room. So when you said, what are you being? There's two questions I ask myself. One of them is, why? What are you being? Like, why are you being? And the other one is, are you being? Notice this is all like active. Are you being certain? So, am I certain in this moment of my next step? So this way, we don't like slip, or I don't slip into unconscious behavior, which does happen, right? Like, just recently going through an experience with a dear friend of mine, I noticed where I just kind of slipped back into like unconscious behaviors. And by unconscious, it just means like I'm on autopilot, just sharing with the community, like where I'm not questioning, I'm not in that alignment with that higher frequency or even just more expanded frequency, right? Like Instead, I've really narrowed and gotten these like blinders on where I just see the problem when all the solutions, all the possibilities are out here. Yet it's an old habit of kind of narrowing in to just like, oh, well, this is how I feel about this problem, you know, and this is how you're making me feel. And just really sort of how many of us live in that space sometimes. And even though, so sometimes I just need to move the energy out, and I teach my clients really how to do that, how we can shift it. Because once the awareness pops in and goes, taps me on the shoulder and is like, yo, like, you're back there, you're doing the thing, like, it's okay, no judgment on yourself, just a little bit of a light bulb that, like, you can pull yourself out of that and go, okay, I am certain that this is not where I want to stay. This isn't the emotional home I want to live in. So I'm going to pull myself out. I'm going to shake it out. I'm going to jump it out. I'm going to like scream it out if I need to, do some breath work. That's what these tools are for, to shift the state, because the physical is just showing up on what's been going on in the thoughts, which created the emotion, which now the body's just giving you that information. And I think that is really like going on this tangent from what are you being and are you being certain. The information that'll answer that for you is the way you feel in your body in that exact moment. It's always there to guide you. Going back to 100% presence to the information.
I love it. So powerful. I love everything that Alicia is sharing right now. It's all these are such great reminders for all of us. And I laughed. I started to laugh out loud to contain myself, because I've been here. We've all been here when we pointed to another as the reason that I feel any type of way. Like, we just give away all our power when truly,
give our power.
Yeah, truly anything that we feel, it's not ever about the thing, person, place, or thing. It's about our story that we're telling about the thing, the way that we're classifying the thing, how we are deciding that the thing is. And if we're saying it's your fault that I feel this way, well, any human is just a great mirror for us. So if you find yourself pointing out anything that is going on with another, then just that's something there that you can take a look at. You could be very appreciative that you noticed it, because this is what, when you just described everything you were describing, that example you were giving, that's someone that actually notices it going on, which is awesome. That's the awareness we're talking about. If you notice and you actually care to examine, like, oh, that didn't feel good when I just blamed this human for, something where I know that,
right.
Let me take a look. Because now you actually are aware, so now you can choose to look at it differently. And you get to actually go within now and see what might be there that you need to figure out for yourself, or just allow yourself to. Whenever I'm in any type of frequency that I don't enjoy, where I know I'm allowing myself to be connected in that moment, I just know that I can't really trust those thoughts. Like, if I'm frustrated, what are my thoughts going to be? They're going to be a match to frustrated. They're going to be frustrated thoughts, and those frustrated thoughts might turn even into like, now I'm upset, or I'm blaming, or now I feel depressed, or because it's momentum. Like, energy is always moving. So the more that we stay frustrated, the worse that we'll feel. Like, and the more that we stay focusing on things that we're excited about seeing, or being optimistic, or being at peace, then momentum can carry us up as well, to where now it's like, oh, I could be at peace, and then all of a sudden, boom, have a really great idea to the question that I've been asking about, how can I improve my health, or how can I improve my relationship, or how can I improve my finances, or whatever it is. Now that peace just turned into, ooh, I'm excited about that. Let me explore that. Let me put some focus, some attention, some energy on that. Now you have a spark that's starting to flame, and now you're impassioned, doing something that is really in alignment with your truth, whatever it is that you want to bring into the world. And now you're just having the time of your life. You're enjoying the whole journey. You're blissed out because you're doing something that is in alignment. But that just started with you just being at peace, not needing to know, how am I going to improve my health, or how am I going to have the relationship, or who they're going to be, like all the questions that, the disempowering questions that typically have us being anxious. Instead, just asking questions that we're excited to receive answers for, and then being able to trust that they'll find us when we're ready for them, and then just carry the momentum all the way to the physical manifestation is my best advice to anyone. And I don't know where any of that came from, but just inspired from you just now.
I'm all, write that out. That's the process right there. I mean, it really is, though, from anxious to empowerment. It's within the questions that we're asking ourselves. It's building that awareness, like flexing that muscle. And I was inspired by something you said, but I was just like enraptured listening, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna remember that, and it'll come back. But sure. I was like, ooh, I wanted to like take that out and like piece it apart as a teaching.
It'll
come
find you
back.
when it's ready. It'll find you when it's ready. And the same frequency that you got the thought is where it comes back to. This is what I remind myself. This is why I joke a lot on these podcasts, and because I will go in all different directions. And I always say the energy that I had the thought pop into my mind in the first place is where it will come back to.
Okay.
I know it did. Because I was running my mouth when it came the first time, so I needed to run my mouth again so that it could come back.
And there it is. Okay, crazy. As soon as I went and I was literally going to go, it came, the biggest grasshopper just landed on my window. Like the biggest. It's like this long, which is like very strange for California. And it's the second time I've seen this guy. I know it's him.
He feels the vibe. He feels the vibe.
It's missing a leg. It's missing one of its big legs.
And
my window's on the second floor. That was crazy.
Nature will
always
always hang out.
Teach this.
I love it. Nature always will hang out.
Teach this. Okay, so hello, friend. Wow. So really, what I was going to sort of take apart was attachment, because I loved that you brought up attachment, because how attached do we get to, one of the things I taught, I'm running a meditation and like movement. So my past life, I have many past lives. And one of them is, and I mean that as a joke, like one of them was being a personal trainer and a group instructor for years. Before that, I was a personal stylist. So I've done some things. And so I ran like a workout this morning for my friend's company online. And then I did a meditation. And I said, the most important thing that I have learned probably in the past few months is when we sit down and we have this expectation of like, okay, I'm going to sit down and the answer to the question, because I'm carving out the space, is going to come right now. Right now, God, the universe, intelligence, understands that now is the time to give me the answer to this problem, because Leisha taught me meditation and this is when it happened. Okay. And then we look and we're like, in 5 minutes, let's go. But it's the attachment to that experience. When really, it's just a flow. It's getting into flow. And I'm being shown, and it's funny because I feel like they're tapping me on the shoulder. I've been working a lot with my ancestors, and I've been shown that it's not necessarily that we get, and you explained it perfectly, okay, Leisha, create wireless headphones. It'll be man, I really like listening to music, and I'm tired of these chords. So, as I almost wrote them out. So, what's another way? And so your excitement and your desire is what drives. Yet, as a society in Western culture, we don't put a lot of stock into our passions and into inviting ecstasy, which I know that word is very strange for a lot of people, but inviting ecstasy into our lives. And saying well, what does make me feel good? And it's not just a superficial, yay, I'm happy I had my coffee this morning. But what really lights me up from the inside out? And that's part of my teachings as well, with women reconnecting to their passion and what makes them feel juicy and amazing. Because when you're feeling that way, yes, you're in flow. Yes, you're connected to the abundance, the alignment, all of it. But at the same time, you're getting to experience it on an outer level before it's even here. You're just I already feel good. This conversation, I feel so blessed that I get to have this conversation. This feels so good to me. So now more of that's going to be oh, more, because I release the attachment of how these conversations are going to happen. I just trust. So expectation, attachment, acceptance, trust, surrender. These words are a process within themselves. They are all an activity. So I really love that you brought up the detachment from it all and just understanding it'll just follow what lights you up. That's a lot harder said than done for most of us who've denied what lights us up, because maybe we were little kids that what lit us up was hugging and telling other people how amazing we thought they were. And that was not acceptable, when you needed to learn your ABCs.
I love it. Everything you just shared right there. If you're listening to this when it's released, rewind and listen to Alicia's last segment right there, because it's so important, everything she just described. And, for all of us, it's I just love knowing that once we ask for anything, once we're curious about how to create wireless headphones or whatever it might be, whatever our ask might be, if we can just return back to being that little, like that adventurous little kid where it's like, I'm just going to go back to enjoying this moment. And the answer will find me when it finds me, because it could find you in infinite ways. You could be out in nature. I get so many good ideas in the shower, like random YouTube videos that just start playing. I'd be like, that's interesting. Like, I'm going to go that direction. Like, you meet a person, when you're going to the grocery store, standing waiting across the street, and then all of a sudden you find out that they have this thing that they're pushing it's a vacuum cleaner that doesn't have a cord. And you're like, wait, your vacuum cleaner doesn't have a cord? Wait, I've been wanting to. So it's just like, it can happen in so many different ways. Like, we don't have to figure that part out. And if we could just meditate just because of the enjoyment for meditation, just to be present in the meditation, and whatever happens, I meditate every morning on purpose just to feel one thing. I just want to be connected. Like, that's it. Like, that's where my meditation stops, is when I know I'm connected. If I have a download that pops into my mind about anything I'm excited about that I want to write down, that's when meditation stops. Because I know I'm connected, because we're only receiving downloads when we're connected. And so it's just like, if we can just enjoy the moments of life just for what they are. Maybe this moment might not be like the most ecstasy-filled, blissful moment that you've ever had in your life, but it also doesn't have to be the most like powerless, like depressing moment that you've ever had in your life either. It is a choice, and we get to choose what we want to bring to this moment, and just knowing that momentum can carry us up to ecstasy and nirvana and bliss and euphoria. Haven't found any words in English that describe energy more powerfully than that. The cool thing about energy is momentum can take us up even further than that, which is awesome. I love knowing that about life, and all we have to do to experience those frequencies is just allow our momentum to carry us there. And it could just start with just being at peace and at content, being optimistic that everything is working out in your life and for humanity, and the answers will find you when they're ready to find you. And now, what are you doing right here and now? You're listening to a podcast. How much can I enjoy this podcast? What nuggets can I receive? What awesome, gems are Alicia going to throw out next? Just being able to enjoy life for what it is in the moment can lead us to every direction that is important to us to go. And you don't have to figure out all the plot to the movie. Just know what you'd like to see on your movie screen. I just think of life as a movie. Like, we're all the star, and I know what I want to see on the screen, but I don't know all the little plot twists that need to happen. I don't know the different characters that are gonna join me from here to what I want to see. And I know that even when I get to that segment of the movie, by the time I get there, there's going to be a whole new segment that I want to see. So it's all good. So I'm just going to enjoy this segment and this segment and this segment all the way through, this scene, and then it's going to be a new scene when we get to that scene that we think we want right now. But if we can enjoy the whole journey there, it's become cliche, but if you can really do it, like, all the answers will come that you need along the path. Like, you don't need to know all the scenes of the movie. Thank goodness. I don't want to write a whole movie out. I just want to know what I'd like to see on the movie, and then let the universe handle the synchronicity.
Yes, let the universe handle the how. And that, I think, is the most crucial thing to teach, though, and to really kind of understand, and not have a judgment on yourself if you're like, I love that you said, not every moment's like, oh, this is blissful, but I do talk to my clients a lot about, like, everything is sacred. It's sort of like Albert Einstein, everything's a miracle or nothing's a miracle. Like, everything is sacred or nothing is sacred. Like, holding my phone and getting to connect with another person is sacred to me. This bug landing on my window is sacred to me. My body is sacred to me. Everything becomes this really beautiful dance, and like doing the dishes can be sacred. I don't know how many times I'll get to do the dishes again. And when you do that, when you think of it that way, and it's so easy. Like, there are definitely times where I'm doing the dishes and I'm listening to like a podcast or something and I'm completely somewhere else. We don't have to be so hard on ourselves that we have to walk around as enlightened beings that are always calm and in flow. And I think something that you said that I very much align with is, like, I don't meditate for hours and hours and hours a day. Do I take time and create space because this is my path? But to express as a spiritual teacher, yes. So just like you would maybe take classes or go to school to become a doctor, I do take retreats that are, multiple days long, where I am in silence and I am really setting aside that time to just say, like, God, use me. However, universe, just flow through me, and whatever teachings, whatever I need to be as a vessel, like whatever is no longer serving, allow that to shed away. But when I'm in my day to day and I'm just like, all right, I just need that quick alignment check, I don't sit and meditate for hours. It's like, it comes if I feel called in the middle of the day, it happened yesterday where I was like, I just need to sit. I'm being guided. Like, I need to sit. So right now I don't have children or anything that really pulls my attention one way or another, unless it's like clients. So I get that opportunity to just kind of sit. And so I think that's such a great, like, not just a modern way of looking at it, but a reminder that, like, it doesn't have to look like anybody else's practice. It's literally, you're so unique. And that's why there is a you. So however it works for you, do that. However it connects you immediately and aligns you immediately, you're right. Don't wrong yourself in that. And there is a difference with discipline when you're first kind of flexing a new habit, and you do want to start creating the space and understanding that you will crave the silence over time. You just may not at first. It may feel more like anxiousness and less of empowerment. Yet over time, it will be that gift. So I think really teaching that patience, and also, there is no right or wrong way to do these things, is really important.
I love that. What Alicia just highlighted is just the power of being self-aware and just being able to know what it is that our being is calling for. And I love that you highlighted that at the end, as far as, like, for me at the beginning, which I want to mention more, because I talk about meditating now, and like I do it until I feel connected, and then I'm off of my day. But at the beginning, that wasn't the way that I did it, because I wasn't ready for that. That wasn't I actually needed a guided meditation. Like, it was a series of guided meditations that really helped me get in the practice of meditation, and those were actually about half an hour. So those were a little bit longer, and helped me with some blind spots that I had that I didn't realize. Like, by being able to ask the universe, show me some blind spots that are affecting my energy, and just powerful stuff. So now, like Alicia said, if I feel like there's time where I need to reconnect, like, I can just close my eyes and, like, I can get into a meditative flow immediately. I can take a few deep breaths. Like, it's just, you start to become aware of what you need, individually, and we're all different when it comes to that. And if you're out there and you want to meditate for 2, 3, 4 hours, awesome. Like, do it. Like, whatever you're called to do, like, it's all good. Like, if we can just listen and, just trust that this is what my body, this is what my spirit wants right now, then go with it. There's something there for you, for sure. I love it.
Totally.
Yeah. You're awesome.
Just honoring so much permission.
The fun conversation. Did you say you're holding your phone up this whole time? You can't be. Your camera's too straight. Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, I have my.
I was gonna say.
No, I meant, like, when I pick up my phone.
I was like, there's no chance.
No. Well, I have a third arm. No, I have it up on a tripod. Darn, and it'll come back when it's supposed to. Yet there was something from the beginning that tied in right at that moment. It is a practice, and it is a flexing of it, and just feeling called to meditate or close your eyes. Like I said, everything can be sacred. So even just like you said, that one breath, breathing in awareness, releasing self-doubt, fear, like, it can be that simple. Yet in the beginning, when you were learning and you're, just sort of taking that flashlight into your thoughts and awarenesses, it's nice to have a teacher or to have some sort of guide to help accelerate it for you, or just even help illuminate. But ultimately, the journey is on our own. So it'll come back what I was going to tie in from what you had said at the beginning of our conversation. But
I'll help it come back.
She's right now.
I'll help it come back and share something that you really inspired me to share, that I'm excited to share with everyone listening out there in the audience. And I love how you mentioned, every moment being sacred. Another way that I put that is every moment being a synchronicity. A part of life that we can never predict, like moment by moment by moment. That's just one unfolding synchronicity. And a lot of times in spiritual world, especially, we like to, if we're even mentioning the word synchronicity, it's normally coming from the spiritual world normally. But we're normally talking about things that we're really excited about, like the parts on the movie screen that we're like, wow, that's awesome. Which those are my favorite synchronicities too. So all 4 of those. But what about the synchronicities that are like the drama parts on the movie? Where it's like, whoo, that's a rough time. Like, I hope they get through this one. Hope they make it out alive for this one. Those are synchronicities as well. And right now we're experiencing a time globally that will be classified at any time in human history as a pretty challenging time. So might be some of the drama on the movie screen right now. So what I just like to remember, as far as what's going to show up as far as my plot goes, And I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong with the drama. Like, that's what makes the movie. Like, we appreciate the victory in the movie, like the person getting their love story or whatever it is. Like, we appreciate it more because of all the drama. So it's all good. It's all part of the movie.
Hero's journey.
Yeah, and at the same time, just knowing what puts the synchronicities up there that you really enjoy and the ones that you don't enjoy so much. It's a reflection of what's going on inside. So if we are reflecting, joy and love and being connected, it's going to be awesome ideas, awesome people that you meet, awesome experiences that you have. Like, those are going to be the really awesome parts of your movie. And at the same time, you're never going to leave your house in like rage and like upset and just have an awesome day. It's just not going to happen. Like, on the movie screen that day is going to be a rough day. So it's just good for us to be aware of that so that we can get back to being present and controlling. The only thing that really any of us control is, what am I going to vibe on the inside? Am I going to be the light so I can reflect that onto my movie screen called life? And, that's right now we're seeing that more than ever as far as, how can we be as a collective, how can we reflect differently? And even though, a lot of people might not be aware enough to label it that way in words, I think everybody is going through their own, like, reflection process and really asking, like, how is it that we'd like to see the world? And can I appreciate, like, the human connection more? I know that that's my favorite part of life, and I appreciate it now more than ever because I'm like extreme extrovert. I was the one that's why I laughed when you said the report card, like all mine came back. Noel is a pleasure to have in class, but talks excessively. Have to move him to the, like every report card that I ever got. Like, I'm just, because I've never been around someone that, if you're around me, like, you're my friend. Like, we're going to like enjoy life together because I want to enjoy life. And if you're even anywhere close, like, we're just going to enjoy life.
100.
So like, now with the social distancing and everything, like, I'm going to go for a run after this, and I know I'm going to be like inspired to like want to talk to people, but I have to, like, if I do, I have to stay back just out of respect and just doing what we're all, needing to do. That's a rough one for me. I'm extreme extrovert. So.
Me too. I am definitely, I'm both. Like, I wouldn't say an extreme extrovert. I definitely, communication is really my love language. Like, I really, when I communicate with somebody, or if I can place my hands on them, that's like really what like I said around the beginning, allows me to feel like that fulfillment.
Primary communication, secondary physical touch? Is that what you're...
I guess so, yeah. Communication first and then physical touch. And so I was noticing how, when somebody would walk by with their dog, I really wanted to pet their dog, and I wanted to ask them how their day was going and just genuinely be that light that's like, how are you? And so I'm learning now that we're all connected energetically, so how can I just send them love silently? How can I show it through my eyes a little bit more, it's actually calling me to kind of, this grasshopper's like looking in at me now, calling me to like expand and be that brighter light that, like, I actually will envision. When I said that, the light in the back of your room just lit up. That was crazy. I was like, oh, be the light.
I saw it.
So to fully, I was like, wow, to fully just like see, sometimes it's like a pink color or green for heart or whatever, just pressing it out and noticing with my awareness that I can come into their energetic space, obviously consensually, and just give love, just give like a pat on the back energetically of like, hey, I don't know what you're going through, but just like, you're going to be okay. Because I really do believe that just being in someone's presence, we can help them unfold energies out of their sort of field, that we really do have that power, and we really do have that availability. And something I wanted to share that sort of was inspired from what you said, we're all going through, there's this challenging experience. And in spirituality or through plant medicines, they'll call it like the dark night of the soul. And that's really where there's like deep transformation, but it's always darkest before the dawn, right? Like there's always, it's the coldest, it's the darkest, and it feels like it's going to last forever. And one thing I've sort of come up, not against, but sort of become aware of, is that a lot of people feel this ego death happening, and this is like a deeper conversation for another time, with their identity. So if their identity was, well, I go to work, because a lot of times when you ask people what they do, they don't tell you who they are, they just tell you what they do for work. And, or maybe I'm a wife, or I'm a mom, whatever. And they're starting to have to, like you said, reflect back on, well, who am I now without all of those things? Because the obligations that I choose to go back to after this entire experience, 100% are the ones I chose. And so remembering that we have that empowerment, and I think a lot of times we stay in victimhood because to choose me and to understand that we have the responsibility to choose is us actually having to get real about it and be like, oh, I am radically responsible for the energy I bring to the room, for the situations I'm in, obviously, unless you're a child. Otherwise, once we're adults, we're really making these choices for ourselves. And so for anyone out there, this is sort of just like a PSA in a way, but you aren't alone. And if you are feeling like, yeah, well, you guys are all love and light and I'm super excited for you, but I'm feeling like my entire self is being ripped apart and I have no idea what these feelings are, it's actually pretty normal. And in the collective that, just like any caterpillar to become a butterfly, it's got to kind of go in that chrysalis and become mush. And we're all sort of being mushed right now into like being able to come out at a higher elevation or enlightenment or whatever it might be, just an expanded awareness. So just wanted to really touch base for anyone who might watch the replay or be listening that like you deserve so much more love in this moment, not less. So really find compassion and kindness on yourself, because our excitement comes from, I imagine, I don't know your full backstory well, but from doing that deep work of like facing those demons, as everybody calls them, or the ego, whatever, our shadow side, and working our way through it. So that's why on the other side, we're like, woo! I mean, we still come up against them in our own way. It's just a trust now because we've built a relationship within. So I wanted to share that.
I love it. So beautifully said. And yeah, if you're thinking right now they're all love and light, A, we're a reflection of you. So that's you too. Just it's a choice in the moment. And B, like that's why I'm so happy we highlighted your journey previous to now. And I haven't really shared mine too much on this episode, but if you guys have been listening to these, you've heard it. But it's just, for me, like always thinking that you're going to be like a successful pro athlete, which is what my story is, and then hurting myself. And then at 21, from the time I'm 2 to 21, thinking that that's what's going to happen. And then after that, that's not. Already was like depressing in and of itself. But then to move to LA to try to act, because I was like, well, if I can't be a successful athlete, I'm going to be a successful actor. Even though I had zero passion for the industry and didn't even realize how competitive it actually was. And I'm like, dang, these people are all taking classes and they're really enjoying the process. And me, I'm just trying to get the check and I'm just not going to make it. Like, I'm not going to be 40 like bartending, and nothing wrong with that, but that just wasn't going to be my story. So, hold it. Oh, wait, let me share this in my story. Okay, Instagram shared. You have to be conscious on Instagram Live. If you don't catch it, like it'll just like delete your whole Instagram Live. So we're good there. So, really what you see from me and like what I sense when, talking to Alicia this whole time is, people that we've all been through things. We've all been through challenges, and some people are experiencing more challenges right now than others. And for me, I'm just so appreciative of just becoming aware of how I can be, happy in the moment and allow energy to take me up to where I can enjoy life regardless of what's going on. Because the alternate is how I used to be. It's just a roller coaster ride. Like some days I would be what you classified as a moody person. We classify people as moody. Like you just don't know what you're going to get when you're around them. Like that was me. Like some days I was like in a good mood depending on typically what was going on in the external. So if I got an audition or if I booked like a modeling job or if I, had a good day of tips at work, then I'm in a great mood. And on another day where it's like, I don't feel like going to work, like this sucks, like tired of like my boss or all the, like the typical things that, people typically deal with, then you just wouldn't want to be around me that day. Cause I was just like, didn't want to be around you, just wanted to be by myself. So like I call myself like an extreme extrovert. That's when I'm in a really good energy, like when I'm allowing myself to be who I truly am. And then just like others, like I also enjoy and appreciate time alone where I could just chill and I just want to relax, and that's all good too. So what you're seeing of us or anyone is just a piece of the human experience that you embody as well. And it's all moment by moment. So as you practice more, as it matters to you more, and you become aware more that we all are this same energy that's flowing through Alicia's flowing through me, that's flowing through you. It's just a matter of how you want to embody that and flow that right now in the moment. And that's how it will always be. So Alicia has her moments, I have my moments, we all have our moments. It's just what am I going to choose right now? and then what am I going to choose right now, and then allow ourselves to enjoy life as much as possible and let the synchronicities that we want to see on the movie screen flow. So, yes, I'm happy you said that, because I've been doing a better job, as good as I can, of just showing the shadow parts of life and the dark parts that were challenging. Just because the only reason I am the way that I am, or any of us are the way that we are, is because of all the experiences that we've had up until today. So we can really appreciate all of them, all the rough times, because we wouldn't be who we are. We wouldn't be going in the direction that we're going if it weren't for all of those. So. Oh,
100%. I'm so grateful for those dramatic moments on the screen where I thought I would never get over this, or get through this, or handle this breakup, or handle the rejection of, not making it in an audition, or, the world of external now having less of a grip is a really beautiful space to live. So it's so good.
Such an awesome conversation. I just have one more question for you, and you've been doing it the whole time. But first, I'm going to go live on Instagram just again really quick, because they cut me off, and I just want to get this last answer on
Get it I feel like I need to show you guys this gigantic bug real quick. I wonder.
Let him in. This is your new pet. Let's name him. George.
Do you see, like, probably not, because his body's like right here. It's like super long. He's hiding now.
He's well fed. I see him. Let him in. Okay. He feels the vibes. Let him in.
He's into it. He's been hanging out with me for the past couple days.
I love it. So, question I have for you, that you've been doing it the whole time, so feel free to just refer to the rest of the conversation that we had. But just knowing that the internet is going to live on, as far as we know, for quite some time. Whether someone is listening to this live now, or when it's released in a few weeks, or 100 years from now, anything that you want to share that flows out of you, could be any topic, any subject that you feel would uplift and impact someone anytime they hear it. And like I said, you've been doing it the whole time, which I appreciate. Anything else that wants to flow out of you?
Anything else? When I was taking my shower before this, I was like, that's going to be the answer to that question. And of course, now that we're here, I think the greatest thing we can impart on one another is to give yourself permission to explore. As I said earlier, non-judgment. It's so hard. We're so hard on ourselves. And it's not that we just woke up and we're so hard on ourselves. There was a conditioning that came before, a programming that came before. But if there's one thing you can do to give yourself this gift, continue listening to Noelle, because I can tell there's so much value that is imparted in each and every one of these episodes. So if you're here already, vacuuming begin. If you're here already, then continue to listen and really explore. Just be curious. Like, the greatest gift we can give ourselves as human beings is to be curious about why we feel the way that we do, and then what we can do to change it. And it's 111 right now. So I'm going to leave it at that. And, I said it earlier, for one of the teachers that I follow, he always says, in this moment, you deserve more love, not less. And we're the ones who get to give that to ourselves. So I hope that in this moment, you close your eyes, you take a deep breath, put your hand on your heart, and just remember that you deserve more love, not less.
I love it. 111, perfect timing. 411 out here, which means great information. 411 used to be back in the day. 411.
I know. I still know that. Yeah. I know.
The younger crew, you guys have no idea. Like 411.
No. 411.
Now it's like 611 to get like most of the cell phone carriers information. But that's another story. But I'm reflecting everything that you just said, and appreciate everything you just said as far as affirming what I'm doing, and just reflecting that back to you, because I know one thing, and you guys definitely follow Alicia on social media. You'll be able to click all this, and I'm going to ask her to promote anything she wants to promote that she wants you guys to know here in a second. But once I feel someone's energy and I hear what they're sharing and all of these things, I know anything that she puts her attention or energy into, she's going to bring this awesome energy that you felt from this conversation. So if you're drawn to follow her on social media, or work with her, or do anything that she has going on, it's a really great next step on your journey. It's not a coincidence. It's a part of your synchronicity, what is supposed to be on your movie screen, and will lead to awesome parts of your journey, whatever that looks like. And I'm just excited to now know that you exist. Thank you, social media, and all of these things, and some mutual friends. Lauren out there, hello. I've been seeing your journey as well. love what you're doing, and just excited to be co-creating and collaborating with you. I almost called you Keisha. You, Leisha, and all 7.7 billion. Cause the rhyming of that name, like the sound, like my mind's wanting to say that, especially since I was saying the wrong name for 2 days promoting this. So my brain's just like questioning every time I get ready to say the name. But it's all good. But just really enjoying being on this planet with you and all 7.7 billion humans out there. We're all co-creating this beautiful world together. And even though things may be challenging more than normal in the moment, what's evolving, I know, is going to be amazing for all of us. It already is turning into amazing, moment by moment, day by day. It will be that way. The world can only evolve always, and so it's taking this right now taking this right now to maybe do it like in hyperspeed. But that's cool because the more rough energy, it just sparks more like energy towards what we do want to manifest, and that's what's happening right now with conversations like these and so many others. So, appreciate you all. Anything you want to share with the audience that you want them to know that you have going on right now, or any of that stuff?
Yeah. So if you are a woman listening, you are so welcome to come join the Soul Sisters over at the KISS community. Keep It Simple Soul. I'm a big believer. Michael Beckwith is one of my meditation teachers and mentors, and his thing is spiritual community is your immunity, and I really believe that. So please come join us. It's a free community. We're always dropping knowledge. This conversation is actually in there right now. And in mid-April, I will be dropping a group course. It's sort of being downloaded and fleshed out right now fully for women to do this kind of higher self work in what's called a pod. So I'll share further on that. If you just follow me over on my Instagram or on Facebook, I'll be slowly leaking the details of that and how you can get involved. That was not a coincidence. How you can get involved and get ignited. Really, my belief is that it just takes one spark. I mean, one spark can light an entire forest on fire. And fire is actually really good. It's actually really good for the forest when it's natural. And I believe it's really good for the soul as well. When we're starting to feel that sort of like urge to shed our skin and to grow and to expand and evolve, like having a group which is an incubator and accelerator really helps guide us along. And it's a powerful, potent way to do it. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, I have one-on-one coaching, and I look forward to meeting any of you if you just want to drop into my DMs for questions. I would love to be of support.
I love it. And for you guys watching this live right now, Leisha's Instagram is Leisha, but it's spelled Lecia, and then she has a J in the middle, and then Fox, Fox.
Yes.
See, I've been tagging her in lots of things the last 2 days, so it's from memory now. Awesome. Well, appreciate all of you guys out there, and thank you, Leisha, for sharing your love and light with all of us. It's so much fun.
Yes.
Oh, your phone goes sideways. I could have had you do that the whole time. You would have been wide like me, but I didn't mess with you.
Is that what happened? I was trying to take a picture of us, but my phone wasn't doing it that way. So I
never mess with people because I think they have it like set up how they have it set up. But it's all good. You would have been widescreen like me. But you perfect. Focus on everything you're sharing right now.
Well, you can take the picture and then tag me in it.
Wait, you want me to take a screenshot of this?
I was going to, but I can't do it to the side, so I'm just this little square in the corner.
How do you do it on this?
Not that you need to see me. Actually, here, if you just smile, I'll take it on my phone. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect.
I always forget the command on the MacBook. It's like, what is the command? It's some silly command, like Shift Command 3 or something.
Oh.
Like what is the command?
Yeah.
Could they make that any harder?
I'm just like, Command P. Command P is print, though, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know all the 2-button ones, but this is a 3-button one to screenshot. So, anyway.
When you find it, post it in your stories, because we all need to know.
I appreciate all of you guys out there. Thanks for tuning in. You guys share this episode. It will definitely be valuable. And those of you guys that are watching live, you guys will be able to share this on Facebook, and then it'll be available on Instagram Story or Instagram Live for 24 hours. But share this episode when it comes out. It'll definitely impact people. Super powerful nuggets shared by Alicia. She's awesome, and I appreciate you all out there. Continue to rate and review. If you haven't already, do it. Appreciate you guys that have, and it's definitely helping people find these beautiful episodes easier, and subscribe and all those things. And I'll keep talking to awesome humans like Alicia on a regular basis because it's fun for me, and it's a conversation I would have wanted to have with you anyway, and I'm just happy that we can record. I am a full-on recording snob where I want everything recorded and shared, so happy that this episode is out there now forever onto the internet, and I just appreciate all you guys. Have an amazing day whenever you hear this. Thank you guys for tuning in live. Alicia, I appreciate you. You're awesome.
Thank you so much, Noel. This is just the beginning for us.
Awesome.
I feel it.
First collaboration, it's not going to be the last, 100%. Like, I'm already affirming that. I knew that already before we talked, and so you're awesome. Yeah, no, seriously. I could tell people's energy, like, right off the bat. Like, I'm not, like, not in a judgment way, but in a way where I'm like, we're going to have a really fun conversation. Just the way that you replied to me, which I don't remember if it was in a voice message. I think it might have been. I think you might have replied with one, which I was like, this is going to be fun. I could just feel the energy. So it happened today. Hold on, I'm going to stop this stream and I'll say bye to you.